Welcome everyone. Welcome to another build session with Devpost. My name is Darlise, aka Developer. I'm the developer marketing manager here at Devpost. And for anyone who's newer to us, Devpost's mission is to inspire developers, creatives, and builders to build great software. We're building a world where everyone who wants to improve their craft or be inspired to build and create solutions comes to Devpost for that inspiration. So to that end, we power most of the world's software hackathons on our platform. Quick context in case you're just getting oriented. This is for the Call E hackathon. So your code is calling. So ring, pick up the phone. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, where you're building AI agents that make real phone calls and get real world tasks done. So think customer outreach, appointment scheduling, lead qualification, workflow automation, or honestly, something nobody's even tried yet. We want you to get really creative, think outside the box. Problems that you have, problems that you want to solve, problems that you've seen. So lots of prizes on the table, and submissions are open, I think, all the way through mid-September. So the framing for today, so most agent demos probably stop at, the agent said something, and said something back. Today's session is going to go a little bit further. So I'm really happy to introduce our speaker for today, our presenter for today, who's going to walk us through this amazing build session. Vadim, who is the developer advocate over at Call E. So Vadim, take it away. And I'm excited for this session.
Thank you so much. It's first of all, it's lovely to be here. And yeah, I regret not reading the chat, so I missed where you all are coming from, but I assume that majority of folks are from states. But still, it's so awesome always to see like people connecting all over the world from different locations, and it's just great. So before we jump in, I would love to do like a quick introduction of like Kali itself, what it is. And I'm actually curious, so chat, just tell us if we are, on the same page, if you are familiar with the product, if you participate in the hackathon, or that's just your first time hearing about Kali at all. In any case, in any scenario, I would do like a really quick introduction of what it is. So Kali is your way to automate phone calls, whether it's just a one-shot call or it's just, like a regular repetitive call that can be automated for multiple use cases and multiple scenarios. So me personally, as a person who, I freak out when I receive a phone call. I love that. I love that I'm able to automate that and I don't need to, deal with actual phone calls when I just can specify that stuff for my agent and it can handle it and take it away from my life at all. So that's just nice. And that just, gives me more headspace so I can focus on stuff that matters to me and I can get rid of the manual repetitive stuff that can be just handed over to the agent. So that's good. In any case, let me actually just copy the link for you because I will use a lot of links in this session for you folks to kind of like get on the same page and provide resources for you. So that's our landing page. It's in the chat, so feel free to check it out. And it has a bunch of links that you can check as well. In order to follow us. But to make it more convenient for you, I recommend you to follow us on YouTube because we just kicked out this channel so you can actually watch our videos and we will produce more content as soon as possible. And also X, which is formerly known as Twitter, where you can find a lot of updates and just like us interacting in a social more like way. So these are the links. Go follow us. We always love and excited to see more people join in our community. And also at the bottom of the landing page, you can see the Discord link. And for the sake of convenience, let me just copy that. I'm doing that right now. Sorry, my brain is single-threaded, just as JavaScript. So when I do something, I cannot. My speech is very random when I'm looking for something in a synchronous manner. But here we go. This is the link. Go join the Discord server because that's the place where all of our team is hanging out. So in case you have any questions, if you are confused with something or it's difficult for you to get onboarded, we would love to provide any assistance to you. Anyways, yeah. So not once, it's done. So that's good. We have the links. So now let's actually go to the demo. So since I mentioned that Kali is a voice agent provides you an ability to automate phone calls and just have this opportunity to kind of like handle goals in a repetitive manner and just like automate your life and get rid of the manual phone calls. Let's start with like a little bit, go backwards and just like the most simple demo, simple introduction. So the simplest way to get started with Callie is to kind of like have the one-shot call. Basically, you specify the goal, you specify the number, your agent calls the number and provides the result back. So I would love to share the code just to kind of like show you the most simple demo before we jump into something more exciting and more complex. So I will share my screen and I would love some confirmation in the chat that you can see that. Boom. Are you able to see my, it should be VS Code, right? So I shared the right one. Hopefully I did, because I'm not able to see that. But yeah, I see some confirmations in the chat. Awesome. Perfect. Thank you all. So with Callie, we provide you with ability to interact with Callie. We use an API and use an SDK. So this is the way to kind of like more flexible, more engineering, more customizable way. So it's not just, like some kind of web UI where you just, like interact in a very, like very standardized way. Here you can build your own applications, your own UIs where you can, trigger automations and trigger some workflows. And you can also, pass over the data because Callie returns structured results. So you're able to pass the data to somewhere else. In any case, in any scenario, let me show you how it's done in a most simple manner. So as I mentioned, Callie exposes SDK, which is basically the way to interact with the API. So we provide Node, which is basically like you're able to use it in the Node.js applications, or I don't know, React, TypeScript, Next.js, you name it, like any modern JavaScript frameworks. So any custom application you're building with JavaScript, you're able to do that, but also Python. So you get two SDKs and ability to interact with API, obviously in a more, let's say, vanilla manner. I'm not sure if this is like the good term, but like vanilla manner, basically like you can write your own things to interact with API. However, would recommend using SDKs because that's just, like us simplifying life for you. So it's not us limiting you, but more of a providing like tools to simplify your life. So here you can see me importing the actual ability to configure the client, configure the phone call automation, and ability to trigger the phone call using the import. And if you are confused on how to get started with that, let me actually share with you the link to the documentation so you can see how to do that. So here is the link to the docs. Boom. That's the link to the quick start. So you can see the actual like PMPM, or you can use any other package management for JavaScript tool. So you can actually install the package and use it in your application. However, let me walk you through like specific like building blocks that, make this thing complete. So this is the essential import. This is the actual SDK that we're about to use. And this is my import, which specifies the specification of the phone number, location, and locale. Unfortunately, I will not share you the actual object because I have my personal phone number in this. So I don't want to expose my personal phone number on the internet for obvious reasons, I hope. But if you go to the quick start, you can see the actual implementation, what needs to be specified. So those are basically strings that specify the actual phone number and the locale you want to use. But basically, like you can also check the supported locales on our GitHub. And let me actually copy the link to the GitHub because it has the list of supported locales, which can help you to understand what is supported at this specific moment of time. But don't worry if it's not supported, because we constantly improve the list of supported locales. There you go. That's our GitHub. So in one of the repos, I don't remember which one exactly carries the list of supported locales, but one of the repos you will be able to find in the README the list of supported locales. And in case your locale is not supported, you can actually just wait. Maybe we will support that, but you can kind of like help us to understand that your locale is important. And you can go to the Discord and say like, hey, I'm from there and I need to I need you to support this locale. So we can take into account and make sure that we can prioritize if it fits our strategy, and if team has like time to do that, which normally is the case. But just to kind of like just to make sure that team sees that it's easier. Basically, you can ask for the locale. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyways, let's get that out of the way. So here you can see, like, first, when creating a client using the more standard, like it's basically like, I think majority of SDKs work this way. You basically create an instance into the const variable, and you specify it with the like new keyword in JavaScript, and using the call client, which is the export from the SDK, you pass the API key to using the object notation. And basically, I will show you later where you can create this one. But for now, just assume that you pass the string. You know how SDKs work. If not, don't worry not. We have everything in the documentation, and I will show you later how to do that in the actual dashboard of the Kali. Next, we specify the task itself. So the task itself, it's written in the plain English, so it's not something that is need to be written in a specific manner. Just specify what your agent needs to do. So in my case, I'm using like my agent to call the restaurant and ask whether the table for 4 people is available for today for 7 p.m. Next, I'm specifying the result schema. So the result schema, that's basically for us to have the structured result. So the structured result is the exactly thing that will be returned to you after the API call. And this is exactly the thing that you need to specify using the API. And all of the properties, all of the things, I think we already have the link to the documentation in the chat, because I don't remember if I shared it. Yes, I did. Okay, cool. So you can go to the documentation and check what is actually available, because what I have here, it's pretty basic, very introductory, just to show like the basic abilities of the API and what you can specify in the structured result. However, it's a lot richer, it's a lot better. It's like very flexible. You can specify a lot of things. So go check it out and see what's possible there. And then we can also, in the final step, specify the actual declaration of the call itself. So using the async function, we specify the call and we pass the task itself, which is written in the plain English, which I showed previously, recipient, which specifies the string with a number, locale, and location as well. So, and then result schema, which returns the actual structured result. So when you trigger the index.ts file, in my case, or you trigger the function using some specific button on your UI, for example, if it's attached to some button as like a trigger, as like the action for the button, you can actually trigger the call and you will see the call being placed in your terminal or in your UI if you output that. And the structured result, you can all see that in the, documentation, what is returned and what is available with Kali. So that's like the most basic, the most standard way of using Kali. You basically specify the task, you specify the result schema, and you're good. So it does the call for you. It also returns the result, and it also provides information of like how the call went. It also provides the transcript of the call, so you're able to see the actual conversation, not just the summary, but the actual conversation, when you see the responses from the bot and your responses if you're testing the call with your personal phone number, or if you're calling a real phone of the real business, you will see the actual responses from a person related to this business. So that's the foundation. So let's get that out of the way, because we are trying to build something more impressive than just, do a task and just call it. So in Kali, we have a goal concept, which I will introduce to you right now. So I will stop sharing the actual code and we will go to the dashboard. So let me do that now. And by the way, we have some team members of ours in the chat, and also I'm here. So feel free to ask questions at any point of time, and we will address those immediately if that's something that is blocking to you. If you need any kind of like support immediately, if something is unclear to you, and if it's not very urgent, we will leave your question to the end of the session when we will have the actual Q&A. So don't worry, your question will be addressed in any case, but just to be sure that you have the ability to ask that at any point of time. So you should be able to see the Kali dashboard. Is that right? Okay, I can see some hearts. Awesome. Perfect. So as you can see, very standard UI, nothing too outrageous, nothing too tedious. This is just, a basic chat UI, a basic, AI interface. You saw that, I'm pretty sure, you at least used once an AI app, so that's not something you're not familiar with. So let me walk you through like the basic fundamental understanding, so you get like the basic understanding of like what is available on the dashboard. So obviously the chat, that's where you have an ability to specify the call. That's the ability to specify the task itself and write the phone number, and boom, Caller will do that. So you can do that from the code, which I showed previously, but you can also do that from the UI for the sake of simplicity. If you don't need any sort of customization, you can just do that right here. So obviously, like search calls, you can also see like the history, conversations, and just, like go through that. Goals, that's the big thing, and we will walk through that a little bit later. Here, obviously, you have like the history below that, and below even that, we have a little bit of like admin part. So basically where you can manage your account and do cool things. So call history shows you the actual list of things that happened with your account related to your account. So any phone call that you placed will be here, and you can see the actual details. You can see like information. You can see the ID of the call, and basically like a lot of things related to a specific call, which is good for managing, which is good to understanding what you did with your account. Next, Call It provides a really cool thing that you can actually purchase a phone number related to your business. So for example, if you're setting inbound or outbound hotline, you can actually buy a phone number specifically in the interface of the Kali. So if you press the buy phone number, all you need to do is to specify Brazil and or United States, which is available at the moment of recording of this live stream. Obviously, we will expand it later. I will not give any more information about that because I'm honestly not sure. So if you have any questions related to what will be supported and when, I recommend you asking that in the chat, because we have people who are more aware of when and what can come later. So like just ask them, because they will have the better answer than I do. However, you can specify the phone number, specify the country. And then if you navigate to the search bar, you will actually see the list of phone numbers where you can, give me a second, it's loading. Come on, here we go. So this is the list of the phone number. And if you select it, obviously you just press purchase, and you have the phone number that you can specify for your goal, which is a concept that we will get very soon too. Anyways, I have the numbers, so I don't need to buy those, but now you understand how that works. So the billing tab, very self-explanatory. You have your budget, available credits, and basically the usage, so you can track the history of expenses of your account. That is the foundation. And API keys, unfortunately, I will not show the API keys tab for you because I have my own. Actually, no, I can't do that because it's truncated. Sorry about that. Yeah, I can do that. So here we go. This is the API keys tab, where you can actually create an API key to use it with your custom built application. So like if you're using the TypeScript or Python application, which I showed previously, where you can just specify the task and specify the thing that needs to be completed, you can just use your API to do that. Specify your API key in the app, so you can create it here. So obviously, I already have the API key. If you don't have it, you just press the API create API key button here, and you name it. Because once you have a lot of API keys, it's kind of convenient to have like different names, so you know like what is for what. And the expiration date, so you can see the default, but you can specify it. If you don't want to expire the API key, you can do that as well. So that is good. So now let's go to the goal concepts. So if we go to the goals, you can see already I have a lot of things happening here. Ignore that for now. We will create one from scratch with you literally right now. So let's create a goal. So if I press the add a goal button, I get navigated to the actual chat interface, because that's kind of like the whole foundation. So we don't want you to go through a tedious process. So it's the whole concept, the whole idea is to kind of like use very straightforward, very easy to understand flow. So let's do just that. So assuming, you never created a goal, which I guess majority of you experiencing, like that's what you're going through right now, I assume. So let me just copy and paste thing, because I don't want to make it annoying for me and for you while I write it manually real time. So we can say literally just that. Help me to create a goal. Call the metal supplier and ask whether they currently have aluminum sheets physically in stock for immediate pickup. So that is more than enough for the beginning, just for the, like, if you don't know how to interact with the product, if you're just, like have high level understanding of your task and you just need to kind of like call it to assist you, call it to guide you. So just do that, press the send button, and we're getting started. So that will happen very soon. While it's happening, I am reading the chat just to make sure that we're have everything on the same page with all the viewers. I'm reading. So yeah, we have a couple of questions. So regarding the pricing, I will leave this question to the end of for the Q&A session, because like we can actually provide the links, and I don't want to derail the conversation too much. The second question related to the registration of identity, I'm not sure, so I hope someone from my team can handle it in the conversation. Otherwise, reach out on Discord and we will make sure that everything works for you. So this is going to be like, it's a little bit out of the topic of the actual presentation. So like, if you can handle it with the team, I would love to hear your experience and we will make sure to assist you. Anyways, you can see that it started for me. So you can see that the first step, it actually asks for your region and the language the goal should use when calling a supplier. So you can see like it defaults to Poland and English, because I am based in Poland and English is the primary language I use. So basically that's the recommended flow. So Kali recognizes that and suggests this as a recommended flow. However, you can also use Poland with Polish, which is like the more native, the more like, way how it should be in Poland. So that is also available. You can also specify like United States in English, and alternatively, you can also, like write, any region and any language you want to use if it's supported by the platform. So just make sure to go to the GitHub to see what is supported, and you can see there are which regions you can use, and you can write custom. So you don't have to necessarily use what's recommended by Kali, but it just simplifies life for you to do that. So I will pick United States English as my choice and move forward. Boom. So the next step is Kali will ask specific questions related to my goal. So for this specific step, it asks for things like alloy thickness, dimensions, and quantity of the aluminum sheets. So that is, something Kali does to make sure that it's completed. So it's like, it's not a simulation. So it's like something that is real world and actually usable from day one. So for now, I'll just use the recommended suggestions from Kali, because that's a good thing to start with, like just to kind of like demonstrate that. So like obviously if you're using a real business and like if it's a real goal, you will just customize that. But anyways, I'll just use that just to get it out of the way and make sure we progress with the actual creation of the goal. So once we specify the answers, so like what Kali should take care of, like, you know, answering about specific like dimensions or specific types of metal and stuff like that. So Kali takes that into the account and it starts to create a goal. So that is happening right now. So we'll have a little bit of a wait time while that is happening. Boom. Great. So as the response, we can see the actual goal, so which is specified right here. I highlighted it. So, and also the objective itself. I can also read it out loud. So call a metal supplier and determine whether aluminum sheets matching the required alloy thickness, dimensions, and quantity is physically in stock and available for immediate pickup. And also Kali, you know, gives you the recommended next steps that you can do in order to, you know, like proceed with the goal publishing. So you can see that it suggests to run simulations. You can also revise the goal. You can use the goal for a real call. You can actually kind of like specify the phone number and actually test your goal. Or you can publish the goal immediately. But for now, I will go with the run simulations option. Run simulations. Boom. So this option will actually run the simulations of the call. I will show, like once it's completed, I will show you in the UI, it shows actual simulations that are running and actual specific simulations that are happening related to this goal before publishing. It's always a good practice to, you know, run simulations because that's how you know, test it and basically make sure that everything is configured correctly. So now we're waiting for the actual simulations to be completed. And while that's happening, I will take a look at the chat. So we'll have no questions, no immediate question. Yeah, I can see that the question for the billing is covered. That's great. Awesome. Perfect. So now we wait for simulations to be completed. It can take some time, but not too long. So, you know, it's not difficult to wait because that is kind of like the fundamental step before publishing the actual goal to verify that it's actually functioning as expected. So now we wait for the simulations to be completed. And don't hesitate to ask any questions while our wait, because that is the moment I dislike the most, the awkward silence when something, you know, working and I'm just silently staring on the screen because it's just...
I got you.
Yeah,
You were
it
talking
just...
about being awkward too.
Right. Yeah. It's like, you know, you just see the timer and just, you know, like, do I look awkward? How awkward do I look? Like, is it that bad?
Well, I'm curious then, because I know your team is answering some questions in the chat, but from your point of view, what would make a standout project for this kind of hackathon given the technology?
Oh, that's a great question because, you know, my use case is like what I was thinking, like, I will just... something out on the top of my head was like, for example, if you have like a law firm just to process like income calls to book, you know, like an initial call, an initial meeting. So you can set up like a hotline to kind of like accept that and just, you know, kind of like create bookings for you. But at the same time, when I saw the actual submissions on our Discord server, I realized like, oh, my creativity is like below average because like I saw what people can do with it. And I realized that there are a lot more use cases that I don't think about. But yeah, like the basic example is basically like a law firm and ability to kind of like process the incoming calls in order to, you know, create bookings. That's useful. And that's kind of like, it kind of like eliminates the need to, you know, like have an assistant that can kind of like take care of these calls, or you have to do that manually just to kind of like sit by yourself with the phone all the time, which is annoying and takes time. And obviously, like if it's, you know, like one person type of business, like you don't want to do that. You have things to do. Yeah, that is kind of like the use case I can think of. But obviously, there are like a lot more and a lot of like things you can do with Kali. For example, like if you're planning some meeting with like a lot of people, you can also arrange calls with other team members and ask them like, hey, what's your availability, what's your like diet preferences, and yada yada yada, all sort of stuff. So you can just plan the actual meeting and just make sure that everybody get what they need for the actual like team building or something like that. I don't know, like just one possible use case as well. So yeah, that is the kind of like possible use cases for Kali. So that is
Love
the
it.
answer.
I love that answer.
Awesome, thank you so much. And
Yeah, of course.
yeah, and now we're back. I actually love the fact that you helped me to get rid of this awkward silence because that's actually the job is completed, and now we can see the actual kind of like completed simulations, and we can see that like the actual step of like simulations is done, which is a very important thing to do before publishing the goal. So you can see the specific summaries for each simulation to understand like what happened and what kind of simulation what was done in order to test everything before publishing. So yeah, I will not read all of those because that can be a little bit lengthy in terms of just time, and we already kind of like have not a lot of time left. So yeah, I will progress really fast. So yeah, these are the simulations. And don't worry if you see failed. Failed doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad, that something went wrong. Some simulations specifically meant to be failed, like as the result. It doesn't mean that you cannot just proceed and not publish the goal. Like it's not just like test cases in coding when everything should be green before publishing. So some scenarios should be failed. Basically, that's how we verify that everything goes along the plan for the actual goal before publishing. So now when it's done, we can use this goal. So this goal, if you want to see the status of the goal, we have this sidebar here, and we can see the actual details related to the specific goal. So it gives you some sort of like short description and details. So it's listed, so which means like it's created, it's not published because we didn't publish it yet, and basically the version related to this goal. And now we can actually test the call, do the actual test call for the goal. So I can use the /bar/ command to kind of like specify the specific goal. And now I can use the number and actually use the real number and ask Caldi to run the actual call for this specific goal. So let me do that really quickly so I can copy the text because I don't want to type that manually. 1 second, I'll do that. I'll just copy the number for the testing, and you will see it here. Boom. So we specify the goal with the / command, and then we just say like call and specify the number. If you are curious about the number, you can actually, this is the number that you can use. This is like call the hotline. So you can use this specific number for testing your other goals. Not necessarily, this is not for me, this is like for everyone. So this is a test hotline for all of you to test. If you don't want to, screenshot it and just, like save it for later, you can join our Discord. And in the FAQ section, there is like a question related specifically to that, and this number is specified there. So you can actually, see that there, and you can use this number to actually test your goal. And right now we'll see it working. And now it's it will do all of the preparations, and you can also, like, the good thing that you can see the actual steps that are completed before it's done. For now, I will just specify any, for the sake of demo. It's obviously not good for production use, but it's good enough for the actual demo, just to specify some random numbers and random answers to cover the foundational information related to this goal. And now it will do the actual call. And later on, we will use it. We have another member of our team on the call, so we can actually place the real call, I believe. Because this is just, like, I just wanted to showcase the actual hotline available for everyone in the chat. But if we go to other conversation, let me actually see if we can invite our other team member to this stage, or if they are there. I would love some help over here. Do we have another team member here?
Hi. Yes, I'm here. I'm the product manager of Collie. So hi everyone. Yeah. Hi, Vadim.
Hello. Awesome to have you. Yeah. So right now I specify the goal. So like this is like exactly the same flow that is completed already. I specify the phone number that we can actually call. So it's a little bit different phone number. And now once I press it, we should wait a little bit and hear the actual phone call being placed. And now
Yes,
I will keep myself silent, because you need to actually hear my colleague to actually, hear the call, and he can see all of the needed information. Okay, let's make it a little bit less awkward. So I will keep talking just to kind of like complete this silence. So yeah, like it's doing its job. It takes a little bit time to actually place the call, because like that's the heavy lifting of the product. So now you can actually see that this stage is like it starts the actual voice run. It starts the actual call. So it specifies the number, it specifies the task, and you can see all of the steps that it takes to actually place the phone call. Is it doing its job? I'm placing it. Okay, it's doing its job. You can also understand that there's like, we should pray for live demo gods, because not everything goes according to our plans, unfortunately, but it looks like it should be happening. No, I'm not sure.
Yeah, receiving the call now.
Oh, okay, good.
Hi. Oh no, we currently don't have that in stock. Sorry about that. But okay. So since now I have finished the call, so we're going to see the transcript showing up in the response. Okay.
Awesome. So now we're waiting. Yeah, like it's a little bit sad that we were not able to hear the Collie side, but you can imagine that this was like, like a simulation of the real conversation. Oh, here we go. So you can see the bot actually saying like the questions that are related to the goal, which is exactly the same goal that we created for the demo. So it's like the same one. I'm calling for the requester to check whether you physically have 4 sheets of the aluminum, any thick, any in stock now for immediate pickup. And as you heard, my colleague said like, oh no, we currently don't have that in stock. Sorry about that. And the bot said, all right, confirmed. I received that information. Thank you. Bye. Like, have a good one. So that is created. That is all good. So you saw that in action. So like we just specified the number and we tested the real goal that was created with just one single message like, hey, I have the task, I have the need, just help me to figure that out. So now let's actually see what is created. And before I do that, I will just ask Kali to publish my goal, because that's an important step before actually, like using the goal outside of this chat UI. You actually need to publish it, and it will do its thing. But while it's doing the publishing of the goal, and obviously you don't have to stay in the chat UI, you can, like switch between tabs. You don't have to, you're not connected to a specific screen, like specific sessions. So you can jump between like different tasks and different things to do stuff. So this is the one that I'm creating right now. Obviously, like you can see, I tested this flow a couple of times. So it has like similar naming convention. But what is important here is the actual goal ID. So the goal ID is something that you can use using the API or SDK, and you can actually use that goal. Like it's like basically how you can understand like which goal to use outside of the web UI. And if you press the name of the goal, you can see details related to this goal. So it specifies the name, it specifies the ID. And it specifies some sort of description so you can understand what sort of goal we're looking at. Additionally, there is like strategy updates, which I will show in a few minutes. And obviously some SDK API examples. So you can get started without even going to the documentation and, like reading all the docs. You can immediately just, press the copy button and start to use API and start to use the product straight away. And you're, in your terminal, if that's, for example, a curl, just to kind of like see it as like see it in action as a demo. You can also use it with Node.js, and you also have like the npm script to install the actual package, which I mentioned in the beginning, which is like the SDK, the whole thing that helps us to place the call and specify the call details, and the actual implementation of the client instance that is coming from the SDK import. And you can also see that it's not just, like basic information, it's also related to the actual goal. So it's like, it's a little bit customized already like for you. So you don't have to kind of like invest a lot of time to understanding the options, which is nice to have, which is handy. And obviously the same example, which is like same logic, same functionality, but for the Python. So that is great. And it's still working. It should be published. Yes, as you can see, while I was showcasing what is available inside the goal tab, my goal is created and ready for usage. And it's ready, like the green icon. Hopefully you can see the difference. So this one is gray, this one is not published, for example, and this one is green. So it's published and it's ready to be used, and it's actually live. It's a published goal, not a draft anymore. So now I want to show you the strategy and actual kind of like demonstration of like what is available for you as like ability to improve your existing goal. So this is my goal, another demo goal with like some calls that are already happened. So you can see like in the previous goal that I showed you, there were no calls happening because like it was just literally created a minute ago. And this one already has some goals that are completed. Not goals, but calls completed. So we can actually use this one to show you how you can improve the goal. In order to do that, you don't have to actually kind of like go through, because like it's like chats can get busy and like it's not necessarily easy to understand which one is which. So what you can do, like you can see the goal that has like some calls being placed, and if you go to this one specific, sorry for jumping in between tabs. So if you go here and press edit, you will be navigated to the chat related to this specific goal. And you can see that this one is also published. So I did run the publishing process, and the Kali has like recommended next steps. So the one is use the goal for a real call, which we already demonstrated with a different one. But also Kali can review recent calls and suggest improvements for existing goals. So let's ask it to do that, just to kind of like demonstrate how, Kali helps you to kind of like get away from that V1, like first version that is like untested and verified. So you can actually kind of like iterate and improve your goal. So what is important here, that it's working with like actual calls. So it's like information based on real information. So it's not a simulation, not some kind of like assumption case. It's actual phone calls and actual history. So it analyzes the actual things that happened related to this goal and gives you a list of suggestions. So you can see that Kali provides a bunch of recommendations related to this specific goal based on actual phone calls. So you're able to review that, you're able to read that, and just to kind of like understand what are the actual suggestions before applying. And once you're happy, you can just say apply, and that's all you need for Kali to kind of like handle the updates, handle the updates, and handle the recommendations that Kali provide you with, and it will apply improvements to the published goal. So like it's kind of like gets away from like the first iteration when it's just created to something that is already battle tested, let's say that way. And that is how you can improve the goal and kind of like move away from very like vanilla untested like first draft version. So it will happen for a while, and that is how it's done. I guess my colleague wants to say something. I will give mic to him.
Yeah, so while we were waiting, Vadim, do you think we are able to make a call to Poland, like the region where you are in?
I guess so. Like we can probably test that.
Yeah.
Can we do that? But the only thing, I will take my phone just to make sure I have everything right beside me.
Yeah, because I guess it's too late to make a US call to
headphones
anyone
disconnected,
actually in
so
the
really
US.
hear you.
Oh, okay.
One sec. I'm sorry. Okay, now I should be able to hear you.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
we
what
need
I will,
to emphasize the region here. I guess we need to specify like we want to make this call to Poland and using
yeah, thank you. I completely forgot that because like in my head I did
Yeah.
that, but I forgot to type that out. So yeah, like I specified the actual task first, then I specified the actual language, because with Kali you are able to place phone calls in both native language and sometimes other language than native one. In case of Poland, as both Polish and English. Then I specify the number, and then I specify the region itself. So now I should be able to place this call. I will. I'm holding my phone, getting ready for the call, and hopefully it will do its job. Da-da-da-da-da. The number is supported. Yeah, it's finalizing the request, and you can see all of the actual steps that are happening related to this call. And while we wait, I will just really quickly check the chat because I didn't do that for a while. So I'm curious what's happening then. A lot of things actually happened there.
Yeah, lots of questions got answered. So while that's going, and I know we're coming up on time soon, but did want to ask,
Oh,
from
yeah.
your point of view, what's the single best advice you could give to someone who obviously wants to be very successful in this hackathon?
Uh, that is always a tricky question because I guess I don't know. Like from my experience, being like a hackathon organizer, judge, and stuff like that, just try to be as honest as possible because like don't try to reinvent something or don't try to be don't try to kind of like make like life more difficult for yourself. Like the most use cases I loved on the hackathons are normally the ones that are more natural for people because it's like if you can relate to the problem, if it solves the actual, if it solves some problem for real, like if it's not some metaphorical or just like some problem that is created in vacuum, like isolated from real world, like that's normally the best one. So just be as realistic as possible because that first of all helps you with the pitching of your project
Mhm.
because that's kind of like one of the important aspects. Like coding and actually kind of like building the whole app is one of the things you should take care of while cooking something for hackathon. However, one more important thing is the actual pitch, is the actual kind of like how you kind of like promote the idea, how you address the problem statement if your solution is related to your problem statement, because that also is like a big subject that is kind of like very important because sometimes you can have a problem statement, but because of like nature of like how you build things, like it's like you have like very short time, so you have to build something in a short amount of time. So you kind of like can get lost and just disconnected from the actual problem statement, and like there is like few to nothing connection is to the actual problem statement and your actual solutions. So just make sure that the actual kind of like problem statement is addressed, and just like your use case highlights the problem and provides the solution. So like it should be like your project is the solution for the problem you addressed as the opening of your hackathon idea. So that's probably my kind of like go-to mental model of like how to kind of like create an idea, create a project, and kind of like make sure that everything is like works as the full package.
Thank you. I'm curious if your
Sure.
colleague has any thoughts on that, especially from the product side. No pressure.
I think he is shy. He doesn't want to.
No
Olaf,
worries.
like if you have any ideas, like what's like what are the best project ideas for hackathon, and like how to kind of like basically your recommendations for the project, like how you can create something good, you can just say that.
Oh, so I just saw that the call just went through just now,
Oh,
like
sorry,
actually
sorry.
because it's hearing us talking, right?
It's doing the thing. Okay, it's doing something. Yeah, I completely
Mhm.
forgot because I was focusing on the actual
Okay.
question. So sorry about that.
Yeah. Yeah. So back to our hackathon questions, I guess the participants can relate those our product to real world business problems. So we can see. So the core idea of our product is the goal. So actually, we if we can see the goal iteration, like which is your first version of the goal and how your goal improve after you're making the calls. So I think that would be awesome. Yeah.
Great answer. I think one last question before
Mm.
we wrap is, are we allowed to incorporate other agents with this on top of Kali, like Claude, OpenAI?
Oh yeah, of course. We also provide the developers with the agent skills. Like we can upload the skills to the agents. We can also use agent CLI, and we have all sort of like APIs, SDKs integrated within the skills and agent CLIs. So you can use basically in any kind of like coding agent framework, such as like Codex, Cursor, OpenClaw, and Hermes. So basically every framework.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. I feel like are we at the end of our demo?
I think so. Like, well, I mean, like we can do that one more time to do the actual phone call if people are curious about that.
Yeah.
Because like I'm just more concerned about the time because like we're already like more than 1 hour in. So like if people are cool with that, like I'm cool with that as
Yeah,
well.
let's see it. Oh wait, we got some thumbs up.
Okay, that's good. That's a good sign that people are still processing the information after 1 hour, which is good. Let me just do that one more time. I'll just copy the text and just paste it. Boom. And now we do the waiting once again. Oh, you can actually already see because like while I was answering the question, so like my auto respond thingy was actually answering. So like you can see the transcript of the actual call, but that was not me answering. That was just my auto response automation. Okay, so now it's doing this thing. Now it should be placing the call, so I'm waiting for that. Since it can take a while, I'm waiting for it. But for now, nothing received to my phone, but that's normal because it takes a while to do things before actually placing the call. Yeah, and I'm just checking the questions in the Q&A section so I can see that. Yeah, I think everything is. Oh, here you go. So I received the call. I have it. Let me just answer it. Hello.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can.
Great, thanks.
You're welcome. All right. I hope everyone were able to hear that. And now, once the call is completed, it should be here, and it should also provide like similar type of transcript with my specific answer. Yeah, you can see the transcript. So it says hello. It asks if I can hear clearly. I say yes, I can, and that is basically the basic example, basic demonstration of the conversation that happened real time for you folks. And that's it, I think. So that is the actual call being placed in action. So what we covered in this session, and let me stop screen sharing for you. So what we covered is the basic usage. So what is available with Kali is SDK and API. So you're able to build custom applications using code or using your agent to kind of like pass over the documentation and it will cook something for you. But basically the product is flexible enough for you to build something cool. Next, we showcase the goal concept and how you can create something that is repetitive. So if you need to handle task that is, happening, this same kind of like mental model of task happening all the time. You create it once and reuse it for one use case. So creation of the goal and kind of like improvement of the goal as well, based on the actual calls that are happening. So call is smart enough to cook the goal for you just from one single sentence, and then it is smart enough to kind of like improve it based on the information that it got from the real calls that were placed. Next, we just verified how the call is working. So basically, you saw me specifying the number and specifying like just region and language and saying like, hey, just call this person and say that if they can hear clearly, and you saw it in action. So you saw various specific use cases for calling and how you can interact with the product, how you can, like get started with the product, and what you can possibly build. So now, like the sky is the limits. So it's up to you to kind of like cook something, build something creative, build something fun. So go explore it. Join our Discord once again to kind of like see it in action, like how we build it, because we try to communicate everything on Discord. So there you're able to ask questions. There you're able to get support from the actual team members. So go join and let's build something together. So thank you so much for spending time with me, folks. That was lovely.
Amazing. That's a wrap, everyone. Huge thanks to Vadim and the Collie team for walking us through this amazing session. Couple of things. We'd love to genuinely get your feedback. So I posted in the chat to fill out the survey. I'll post the link again. And this just lets us know just how we did during this session, and also allows me to continue to bring these kind of sessions and convince Devpost to allow me to keep doing these kind of sessions. I think they're really great. I think they're really informative. And I really think they keep people motivated and informed about, the different kinds of ways you can leverage this kind of technology for your builds, for this hackathon, for any other hackathon that you do. We want you to continue to use this technology throughout your builds, throughout projects, throughout products as well. So please, please, please fill out the survey. Let us know how we did. Like we said, join the Discord. Also, the recording will be up in the next probably hour or so. We'll also include all the links that Vadim shared as well. So the repo, the quick start, goodness, the docs, everything. And the submissions will close September 14th. So don't wait to the last minute to, even start the draft of your submission. So on DevPost, you can start at least the draft, but don't wait to the last minute. But, submissions do close September 14th, and the date is the date. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you so much, Vadim and the team, and have a great rest of your day and or evening, depending on what time it is for you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you all. Have a good one.
Thank you.